Welcome to Unmuted Podcast with our amazing host and author, Recia Kabbah. In a noisy world, we cut through the chatter, amplifying important voices. Are you ready for raw, unscripted stories that shape our daily lives? Well, on Unmuted, we tackle tough topics, challenge the norms, and share untold stories. Each episode, we bring in thought leaders, influencers, and everyday heroes for genuine conversations. It's not just a podcast. It's a platform for real, raw, expressive conversations. Get ready for the emotions, laughters, and most of all, the truth. Unmuted is more than just a show. It's a movement. So join us as we break the silence to embrace the power of honest dialogue. Welcome to Unmuted, where conversations are real.
Welcome to Unmuted Podcast. I am your host, Recia Kabbah. On today's episode, I have a pleasure of sitting down with the beautiful Jamie Watkins. Jamie is an award-winning advocate for mental wellness, best-selling author, and sought-after keynote speaker. As the founder of My Piece of Happy, Jamie is dedicated to empowering women and teen girls through coaching, consulting, and community building. With a faith-based approach, she helps others cultivate self-love, purpose, and lifestyle success. Through her work as a writing coach, she encourages women to own their narrative, embrace mental wellness, and step into their power. Okay? Jamie's mission is to ensure every woman feels seen, equipped, and empowered with purpose. Woo! She's a powerhouse, y'all. Welcome, the beautiful Jamie Watkins. Hey, love.
Hi, Recia. Thank you for having me here in the wonderful intro of the bio. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you for being here. Your bio is amazing. You are doing an amazing job. And I am so grateful to just be in your presence. Okay.
Likewise, Queen.
So, how are you doing today? How was your day?
It is still going and it has been wonderful. It's been slow going today, which is exactly what I need after service. I came home, took a mini nap, and just been relaxing, counting down to be in your presence and be here with you this evening.
Right. Same here. I'm grateful. All right, Jamie, we're just gonna get into it. So I'm gonna ask you, my friend, are you ready to get unmuted?
I am ready.
Okay, let's get unmuted, y'all. So you have a lot of stuff going on. I've narrowed it down to a few things that we can discuss. Okay. Feel free. This is home. You have to get off subject. It's normal. Sometimes we get caught up and we just go somewhere else.
We'll go well.
It doesn't matter. Let's just do what we gotta do. It's all fun. It's all about inspiring. So whatever that is, somebody is watching, somebody's going to watch later, and they can probably relate to your story or learn something from you, right? So that's what it's about. And now, so you have your company, My Piece of Happy, LLC. So how has your company influenced your personal journey?
Okay, how has my personal journey influenced My Piece of Happy? I would say my mental wellness journey, my journey to, since that's all what we're about in purpose, has influenced it with the idea that I've gone through something, right? I've experienced something on my journey that I've learned from and I've grown from, and the belief that it's not just me. I'm not alone. This
Right.
was unique to me, that there's other women out there that may find themselves where I was or feeling how I was, and that I can come into a space and help them now that I've grown through some things that there's no, still becoming, but I've grown through some things that I can kind of hold their hand through now. And if nothing else, let them know they're not alone, right? I've been there too, or maybe I'm with you right now, right? My business motto is we grow better together. So my personal journey of feeling not enough and unworthy, getting out of a toxic marriage, all those things compiled about 8 years down the line came to like, what can I do with this, right? Because I believe in nothing's wasted with God, right? Like nothing's wasted. He truly works all things together. And so what can I do with the lessons learned in that experience to help someone else that may be there? And so from that came My Piece of Happy, which initially started as just a blog and sharing blogs. And then that grew into getting my coaching certification, which then led to speaking and writing the book. And here we are.
Awesome. And so for me, my piece of happy, when I hear that, it's kind of like saying a lot to me. What make you to choose that name? Like just the title, that my piece of happy, what's the inspiration behind that?
I have to credit my sister for the name, but it was me explaining, like just trying to come up with a name, but explaining what I wanted the space to be. Because again, it was a blog. So I'm like, I want women to find their peace, right? I want them to find their peace. I want them to find a happiness. I want them to be empowered to choose for themselves, to love themselves. And so I'm like going through all of this stuff, like I'm just spewing this stuff, and we're searching up names. And then she's like, well, we could do my piece of, because I was saying like a piece of a piece. And she's like, we can use PEACE that would go along with the peace of mind that I was explaining. And then I'm like, oh, like once she said that, it was like, that's perfect. Like that's it. That's what we'll do. And it was available and it's trademarked now. And it just stuck and really resonated with me. And now it resonates with a lot of women. So the idea behind My Piece of Happy is the my is owning it for yourself. So when you say it, right, it's your piece of happy and what that is to you, but it's finding that peace, that happiness, it's owning and empowering. It says ownership, empowerment. It says equipping. It just says all the things that would make someone whole, right? And peace, I believe, because I am a woman of faith, and like you said, my business is faith-based, right? Like that peace that passes all understanding comes from Christ for me. So it's that peace, and that happiness is our outward expression, right? Our how we express the joy on the inside that we have, like what that looks outward. So how do I choose, when I say choose happy, how do I choose to express this joy that I have on the inside today, right? Like I get to choose that every day.
Awesome. Yes, I feel like I'm living in my piece of happy. I am. I feel like that. I'm like my piece of happy. Yes, it's just something that money can buy.
Right.
Some things that nobody can give you. When you find that inner peace,
Yes.
it doesn't matter what the devil throw at you. You just happy.
Yes.
I feel like everything that comes at me these days, that could maybe make me sit down and have a bad day. I just be like, whatever. The devil just mad because I'm happy.
That's right.
They just want me to be here and be miserable. But listen, you know what? Today, like we were talking earlier about my different wigs and stuff. I'm like, you know what? Today, all right, I'm going to look like Beyonce today. All right, today I'm going to look like Rihanna. All right. So I'm living in an era where I'm just enjoying myself and trusting God to do the rest, because the power does not last in my own hands, And
Yes, I love that. And what you said about the wig, it makes me okay, so just that's an outward, right? Like that's something tangible that you get up and you say, I'm going to choose if I want to show up like Rihanna or I want to show up like Beyonce today. We also get to choose how we show up with our gifts, how we show up with our emotions, how, right? Like regulating those, how we show up in our mindset. How we're going to express ourselves and how we get to show up at our jobs and with our interactions and in our conversations. Like we do get to choose, just like we get to choose a wig we're going to put on, we get to choose those internal to external things as well.
Right, exactly. Not allowing the outside world to dictate to your move, to your happy, So today when I'm Recia, when I feel like being Recia, of course I'm my short hair. That's my natural. Then I'm Recia that day. So she's good for you to mess around with. But when I'm in my wigs, don't play with me. I'm coming for you.
I love it.
Because I just got that extra, I'll just be extra with that. Like, don't come for me today. Nope.
Wrong
I'm not received today. Don't play with me. So my piece of happy, I love it. And I have your book here. I have collections of books here of all of my author friends. So my piece of happy.
Yes.
All right. I have started reading my book already. So guys, it's on Amazon. You can grab yourself a copy of Jamie Watkins' book, My Piece of Happy, and it's self-love journey to happiness, purpose, and lifestyle success.
Yeah.
Right. So it is a book that you can travel with. It's very nice size, not even that heavy. It's just perfect.
Yes.
So when you're on the plane, you can continue to read. And she also has places in there where you have reflections. You have questions, you can write stuff down to yourself, which I love.
Yes. And for that reason, I have a lot of readers that will say like they keep it on their nightstand and refer back to it. So it really is, it's engaging, it's interactive, and it really is meant to not just regurgitate my story, but for you to resonate on your own.
Right. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you for the support.
Thank you so much. All right, let's move on. Well, we talk about this. Your brand is a faith-based company already. How do you incorporate faith into mental wellness and purposeful living?
Oh, intentionality and knowing that God is in control and reminding my clients and anybody I really come in contact with, just reminding them of whose they are and who they are. Our foundation and faith is really starts with our identity, right? Identifying as a child of God and knowing what that means for us. That's what equips us, right? That we are already enough.
Right.
He's equipped us with gifts that say we're enough. He's already done the hard work. And so knowing, when I say remember whose you are, knowing the power behind that. Like you are fearfully and wonderfully made. So on the days like I had, when I'm saying I'm unlovable, like, no, God thought I was to die for it. Like God loved me immensely, right? He gave his life for me. So that's a lie from the pit of hell, right? Like I absolutely am lovable because God said so. So now not only do I embrace, which goes back to the self-love, loving myself because God thought I was worthy enough, but I am worthy. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I am gifted and equipped, right? So I know that I'm enough. And then what do I do with that? It goes back to that whole, the narrative, which thank God has changed over the years of self-love being selfish, but it's selfless, right? We love ourselves so that we can love our neighbor as ourselves, right? So that we can show up in spaces and pour into other women and people that we interact with and engage with. Back to the We Grow Better Together, my motto. I incorporate all of that into my business. Like God is my CEO, truly. Like I prayed before this podcast. I pray, give me the right thing to say. I know that I'm a vessel. And so when I work with clients and talk to women and share, or even like I'm sharing now, it's to remind you of who you are, that you are already enough. And what are you going to do with this authority and power and dominion that you have, right? What are you going to do with it now? How are you going to show up? And are you going to walk in the room like you belong there? Or are we going to get caught up in imposter syndrome? Or are we going to doubt ourselves? Or are we going to trust that we are who God says we are and that we have that power behind us, right? That no weapon formed against us shall prosper.
Amen.
Learning who you are, who he says you are, leaning into that and trusting that, and then changing the world with that. Every space you occupy, you got to walk in like you know whose you are.
Yeah. Self-confidence. No one, yeah. That's powerful. No one can take that from you when you can love yourself and embrace yourself. People have no choice but to just take that, You receive what you put out.
Right. And that ties into our well-being because that's spiritual, mentally, emotional, right? All the aspects of well-being. And when we remember that and we can cultivate that. So now when I know who I am and I know how I have to show up, I got to take care of myself to do that, right? I have to be mindful. I have to practice self-awareness. And so all of that plays into well-being. And then the purpose part is simply just knowing that you do have purpose, that you matter, that your words matter, that you do belong in the room. If God has opened the door for you to be there, you absolutely belong there. So you better bring it.
You better
Bring
bring
it with the boldness, with the confidence, right? Like he's opened the door, you have this space, you better bring it.
Hmm.
All of the I want all of it, like right, like Recia is in the room.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Get in that room and own it It doesn't even matter who wants to give you um, some type of you don't belong here. It doesn't matter because, like I said, when you find that self-confident, no one can take that from you. So when you find yourself in that room, you are belong there. Like I said, you are belong there. So don't allow people to redirect you from your focus,
that's right.
right? And because sometimes we can be happy or want to be somewhere, and then you get there, and the energy throw you off a little bit. You feel like, am I belong here? But
Distracted that are changing the atmosphere with your energy, right?
yeah, right. So just know who you are, believe in yourself, and own up to that. And so at the end of the day, even if your surrounding don't want to accept or celebrate you, they'll have no choice because you already know who you are. You're confident with that. You stand strong, and and that's it. So at the end of the day, you don't like me, you're gonna like me. You're gonna love me. In fact, you're gonna love me.
Reality is, at the end of the day, I bring me to the room, but God goes before me. So
Right.
you really don't have to like me.
Ooh,
Whatever
yeah.
that's sent, he's already there. So I'm just following him, right?
Just
And
following him.
I'm salt and light because he's already paved the way. So you don't have to like me, but you're gonna gain something because I bring value because I've prepped, right? Like you're gonna gain something. So you don't have to like me, but I bet you'll walk away with something.
You'll walk away with something.
That's
And
right.
rather than liking me, you're gonna fall in love with me. You're gonna fall in love with me. Right.
You won't even know.
So
You won't even know why.
yeah, you won't even know why. Well,
That's how
I
favorite
never
works.
used to like this girl, but now I just love her so much. Why? You don't know why, because God is
The God in me.
all over me. It's God's will. It's His will. Awesome. My piece of happy. Those of you that just joined us, this is Jamie Watkins. She is here sharing her story, her beautiful story of my piece and happy. Don't forget about her book on Amazon. All right. So you emphasize self-love as a foundation for well-being. What are some practical ways women can start embracing self-love in their daily lives? Back to the similar where we just came from.
Yes. So self-love. Oh,
Yeah.
outside of it's so important. It's like essential, really. Um, Outside of knowing who you are and embracing your identity, practical steps, right? Self-awareness. That's key. Self-awareness is key with regards to your overall well-being. Remember that there's always room to grow. So self-awareness comes with just being mindful, right? How am I showing up? Asking the hard questions with ourselves, having those courageous conversations with ourselves. You get offended at something someone said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your self-awareness says, and what self-love says, because we can't control other people, is why did I react like that? Why does that offend me? Why was that a trigger? And it's doing the hard work, right? Because we can't control the other person internally to say, how could I have responded different? Like that's self-love, those hard conversations, the hard work, not just the pedicures and stuff. That's self-care and that's nice. But when you really love yourself, right, you want to show up better. You want to be the best version of yourself. And so whether it's that's just one example where self-awareness can help you, because then the next time maybe you're not as triggered, maybe you're not offended at all, because you give that person the benefit of the doubt and you're like, you know what, maybe they were having a bad day, but I know who I am, right? I've done the hard work. I know that's not true about me, or whatever the case may be. And on the other side of that, if you really are honest with yourself and love yourself, right, to have those conversations, you may find what they said that offended you was absolutely true. And maybe that's something you need to work on, right? So that's self-love. And it does start with self-awareness and mindfulness. Then that bleeds into gratitude, right? Active gratitude. Loving yourself, again, is so that you can show up for yourself and others. And so it's being not just self-aware, right, and mindful. And once you make that a higher habit, I like to call it, once you make that a higher habit and it just becomes lifestyle and kind of who you are, that you're mindful, you're aware, is practicing things like savoring, right? Those little moments, just sitting with yourself quiet, and having those conversations and letting your thoughts grow you. Thinking about what you're thinking about.
Yeah.
And then what do you need? Getting what you need, making sure that you get what you need. One of the biggest obstacles for women, right, is just prioritizing ourselves. The time to sit and think. Take time to have those conversations with yourself. Because we're always doing, it seems. We're pouring out, right? We're expending, but not really pouring in. And I love to serve out an overflow. Like the saying of, you can't pour from an empty cup. I don't even just want the cup full. I want it overflowing so that I stay full and everyone else is out of the overflow. That takes practice, and that takes time, and that takes being mindful, but that is self-love.
Self-love, yeah, it's arranged a whole lot of stuff with that self-love thing. But one thing I have come to realize, when you have self-love, it's like you are fulfilled. You have everything, because knowing what love is and actually living within it, you can teach people how to love you. And not necessarily like teach people, but I mean, like, when you know love, you know what real love is. You accept nothing less.
Yeah.
You accept nothing less. And people can see that. People can see that it comes natural.
You raise the bar, you set a standard, right?
Yeah, you set a standard. And so they have no other choice but to love that person, that vision of you. Because when you don't know what real love is, you accept anything as love.
You let someone else tell you, right,
what love is. And that was my past. I don't think I used to fully know what I needed for love. Not everyone that say they love you means they love you. You have to know the difference. And so that I have been learning that portion of my life, realizing that, wow, when you really know what love is, and you demand that. You demand that because you work for it, and you work on yourself. So now you want that. You want more than what you have done for yourself. You don't accept any less. So I love that.
Yes, and that is so true. And I have been there. If you, like you said, you're reading the book, so you already know. But I've been there, that unlovable state, that not really knowing. Not only did I not know what I needed and what I wanted, no idea what love should look like. Just this, what I heard about, what I read about, what I saw, what I thought, but not really genuinely experiencing it, because you can't give what you don't have.
You don't have.
I didn't really know how to love myself and what I needed, and I got married at 21. Then how can I, one, love somebody else, and two, recognize whether they're loving me like I need to be loved, right?
Yeah.
I'm loving myself, right? I don't even know who I am. I'm like getting so lost, and I'm following maybe I should do this, maybe I should do that. Never taking that time to say, well, how do I feel about that? Or what do I really want from that? That's one big question that will serve you well if you can answer it transparently and honest with yourself, is what do I really want? Not what do you think you want or feel like you want, right? Our feelings will betray us. But what do you really want? And when you can answer that, you know whether you're getting it or not. To your point, right? You know, like, yeah, no, that's not it. That's not the love I want.
Right. Oh, self-love. Yes. Mm, okay. Your book, My Piece of Happy, is all about finding joy again.
Yeah.
Um, Finding joy and purpose. What inspired you to write it? And what do you hope readers take away from your story?
Oh, well, God inspired me to write it. I got a vision like of speaking on a stage and signing my book in the back. And so I was like, oh, I'll take hold of that. I forgot all about the speaking on the stage because I was like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. But I do have a book in me. So for 3 years, I was journaling, like, I have this book in me. I know it. God has already told me. And I didn't do anything else. I just journaled that I have this book. And that was enough for me, right? I just grabbed the vision and did nothing about it. Lesson learned, because 3 years later, I was actually praying about my coaching business. And he was like, don't ask me for anything else until you do what I told you. And immediately I was convicted with disobedience. And so it was written out of that experience. Like, okay, totally right. It's been 3 years, right? And I just kind of took it, put it in the journal, like, yep, I have this book, and didn't do anything about it, and got convicted with that was disobedient, right? He told me what to do 3 years ago. And so
Right.
I wrote it in 3 weeks. And as I was writing it, that transformative experience, therapeutic healing, was like, why did I wait so long? Not only was that happening for me, but I knew that my reader, to the second part of your question, what do I want them to take away from it? It's going to be therapeutic and healing for them too, because it is written like we're talking now, conversation, right? I'm telling you my story, yes, but at the same time, I'm asking those reflective questions, right? And you're finding yourself in there. It may not be exactly what I went through, but you're thinking about what you have gone through, right?
Mm.
Like, okay, I'm not alone, right? Like, oh, girl, yes, I've been there. I feel like that too. Like, oh, I feel like that now. So there's lifestyle success tips throughout the book to help you along the way. Like, here's the lesson I learned. Here's the lifestyle success tip I've learned. And maybe you can grab hold of that and, like, okay, right? Like, I'm going to take that now and go, right? One of them that just came to my mind, like, never give somebody the chance to play you twice, right? Which goes back to Maya Angelou's quote that I put in there, which is just when somebody shows you who they are, right? Believe them the first time.
Leave them. Leave them. Yeah.
Yes. But yes, I hope that the reader walks away with, one, knowing that they're not alone, just feeling a connection, right? A connection that, okay, she could do it, I can do it. And it is faith-based, right? So there is some references, scriptures, and there's some tools like finding your gifts. There's a Kickstart guide at the back, right, with how to start embark your on your self-love journey. And so it's just full of not just my story, but tools to help the reader truly know that they are enough, they are equipped, empowered with purpose.
Right. Guys, those of you that just joined in, I'm with my friend Jamie Watkins, the author of My Piece of Happy,
Yes.
telling us how to find self-love, how to embrace yourself. And I love this book. I love this. As an author myself, when I read this book, I see myself all over it. You know, usually when I read I try not to even go around my book because I just cry all day.
Well,
I'm not my own support. I'm muted. There we go. But it is a very dark place. For me, me being able to release everything I had experienced in life and evolving into this new person that I am. In order to do that, you have to let go. You have to talk about it. You have to release it, and you have to become unmuted. And that's what I have done. So I try not to go back to that place. So books like these make me know you are not alone.
yes.
You are not alone. And if she can do it and go through it and get through it and still find love and still find peace, you too
Yeah.
can. It gave me hope. So please grab your book. You will love it. You will enjoy it. I started reading it. Um, you will love it. You will learn a thing or two or three or four or five. So it is a very good book. I love it. And thank you
Thank
for your
you.
knowledge, for everything. Yes. So as a writing coach, because you are also a coach, do you guide women in using storytelling as a tool for healing and empowerment?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, taking what I know, what I experience, and through the writing process, like I said, very therapeutic. First thing a therapist is I'm not a therapist, but a therapist is going to do, right, is going to give you a journal and say, write. So there is something about writing it out. That's why the Bible, write the vision, right? We know there's power in writing it out. And so that's therapeutic in itself. So I help women to, and I keep saying women, but you know what? I'm working with a husband and wife right now, couple that they'll be releasing their book on Valentine's Day. And so I have to stop saying women. I'm in the habit of that. But he's the first male that I work with along with his wife. But I'm helping people to write their testimonies, write their stories, because one, it is healing in that it's going back and revisiting those dark places like we talk about in our books, right? Those dark places and embracing them with the idea that not that the thing should have happened to you, not that you were deserving of it, but that it's not wasted.
Mhm.
It has done something to you that you can use for the good, the part that all things work together for your good. You can allow it to break you, or you can allow it to show you how resilient you are, that you're still here, that this thing happened to you, or you went through this thing and you're still here. You're resilient, you have power. So it's about not looking back with shame or guilt like some of us hold on, and that weighs us down. It's going back, writing your story to the you are now, and thanking yourself for being here, for making it through, embracing it and saying, you know what, I needed all of that to be who I am right now. And
Mhm.
it's not wasted, that somebody is going to be impacted by my story. My testimony is going to, there's power in your testimony. Your story matters. My testimony is going to help somebody. Everybody's assigned to different people, right? Everybody's audience is different. So yes, we all have a story, and all of our stories matter, because what resonates and how I connect with my readers, you may have different readers that connect to your style of writing and your story, right? But we grow better together through sharing and writing out our stories and telling our stories. And so I help my clients to, one, heal through their stories. I've had clients that have to pause because they unlock something that they kind of locked away,
Mhm.
to seek therapy. And I encourage that. So we pause, we take the time if we need to, because it's not just, hey, put your story on paper so we can get you a book. It's,
Right.
let's experience this together. And I guide them through. We have mindset coaching, we have accountability coaching. I guide them through the process. And you have an option. I set it up so that you can just write your story to get through that process. And
Mhm.
you have the option to add on the publishing. The reason I do that is because I don't want people to be reserved to get it, because I might not want this to go out into the world and I might not want to publish this. That's fine. You can just do the writing. But I will tell you 100% of the people that have bought the writing go on to publish. That's how healing and therapeutic it is, that you realize, like, I can't keep this to myself. I can't,
Right.
God has done to myself. I have to tell it. I have to put it out there to help somebody else. And so,
It's true. It's true. It's true. Your story is, I always say, like you just said, to just piggyback off of what you just said,
mhm,
even though my story, my past is so dark and broken and, a lot of trauma, but I embrace it. I embrace it because God chose me.
mhm,
He chose me. He could have chosen anybody else to
mhm.
walk that walk, but he chose me. There
Yeah.
are so many things that could kill me, but he saved me. And
Yes.
he saved me because he had a place to take me, and he wanted to use my story
Yes.
to help so many people. So even in those times when I felt so low, felt like taking my own life away,
Mhm.
the voice was like, no, 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 no. That's not where we're going.
Ooh.
You know, in order for you to tell the story, you have to walk this walk.
Yes.
And so you cannot tell people something that you yourself has not experienced.
Mm-hmm.
I'm preparing you for what's to come, for the future.
Look at that.
You may not have any idea. You may be shy, because I could not even look in somebody's face, let alone be on a platform and talking all day. I used, I used to be very shy, but when God called you and gave you that mission, He's gonna provide.
Yes, he does. Yes,
He's
he does.
going to prepare you for it. So all along, all those times, everything I ever went through, even just losing my mother from a very young age,
Mm-hmm.
experiencing childhood trauma and experiencing abuse from family, or just having relationship problems.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you don't even understand why I'm loving people, why nobody loving me, why
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving my all. All those things was the story that God was putting together for me.
Yes,
And
yes.
people come in your life for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has a purpose that come in your life. So everyone that walked with me was
Yeah,
on a mission.
yeah.
It could have been a man that I wanted to keep forever, but he wasn't there for forever.
He was just there to make you better.
He was just there. He was just there to build that chapter, whatever chapter God had him on, to be a part of my story. He was there for that. Or those friends, or those experiences, those jobs, just everything. So in this time of my life, I embrace everything that happened. Like I said earlier, good, bad, ugly. I just embrace it because I feel like it is meant for you. You can't escape it. It is
Yes,
meant for you. It is part of your life journey. And
yes.
so I can't be ashamed to tell. So when that time came, especially when I was going through my divorce,
Mm-hmm.
that situation really broke me. That
Yeah.
situation really broke me to a place where I'm like, damn, God, what did I do?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Why do I deserve this? I did everything right. Well, yeah, you probably did, but this is not it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I said in my book, sometimes we pray to God, but we don't wait for Him. We
Right.
move our own pace.
Oh, we pray after we've already went ahead and did the thing, right?
We already done what we want to do. Then now we want to say, God, please. He like, no, you on your own. I'm gonna let you fall flat on your face this time, so I can get you to where I want you to go.
Yes, God will allow those things. And I like to say allow because it's not always like, well, why would God do that? We do a lot ourselves. He allows it because his promise to work all things together for the good of those that love him and are called according to his purpose. He knows who's going to love him. He knows who he's called according to his purpose. Because remember, he's already been to our end. Like he knows we win. Right. So when we're going through, he's backed us up. When we're going through life and these challenges come and we find ourselves in these situations and these things are happening that he allowed, he already knows how he's worked that out for our good. That's why I'm like, okay, nothing's wasted. So even present time, when things come up, it's like, I know this is going to work out. I know, like, I don't know how. It's like he's shown me he has the picture on the puzzle box. I like to use the puzzle, right? I just have these pieces. I don't know how they're all going to fit together, but I know when it's over, it's going to look like that picture on the box. And so I have to trust. I may have to try a piece and it don't fit and move it around, or I may have to get stumped for a second where I'm like, okay, what piece is next? But it's going to come together. And once I've learned that, and that took history, right? It took our testimony. It took the past that I can now almost predict the future, if you will, right? I know it's going to work out because he never fails. Like he's always worked it out. That's just what he does.
Yeah.
So now I have that confident assurance, right? So all the trauma you mentioned, all the divorce, right? Been there, right? Why? I don't question why. It had to happen. Why? Because I'm the bomb.com wife right now. I know because I can tell you what not to do, right? I can tell you what doesn't work. Even that's not wasted.
Yeah.
That's I never, and I have never, of course, I mean, for obvious reasons. I have 2 children from my first marriage, but I count it all joy because I would not be here right now, showing up how I show up right now, as close to God as I am right now, the amazing wife that I am right now, with the husband that I have right now, if I didn't go through that. Like, I needed that. At the time, don't get me wrong now, at the time I was not like, yay, I love it here in this dark place, right? Like, that's not what I'm saying but I'm saying if you're in that dark place, know that it doesn't last. Know that you can choose, right? It's to have it work together for your good. And I will never say that God told me to get divorced. I will say that he didn't tell me to get married. Like, that's one of those, like, maybe you should have asked first, right? That's something I decided to do on my own. And he allowed, right? Because we have free will. And it's like, what did you learn from that? And now do you want to pray about who you're going to be with and who I have for you? So, okay, lesson learned, right? So now I seek ye first the kingdom of God. I pray. And like I said, I prayed before this podcast. Give me the right thing to say. I don't know who the listeners are going to be, but God knows what they need to hear.
Yes, God knows who, that's why when I said earlier, just go with, because you can have questions and you go off of that, because that's where God wants you to go. That's the message he wants you to send, So it doesn't matter. You can have a plan, but our plan can change in any second because God's plan is it. So to piggyback off of what you just said earlier, it's not, like you just said, when I was going through my situation, if I knew what the end result was going to be, I wouldn't have shed a tears. I wouldn't have begged for my marriage. I wouldn't have thought that the world was over for me. So this is why we share our story, because you don't even know who's going through it right now.
Yes.
You don't even know who's trying to give up right now because maybe their marriage or their job or their child, something is going on that they just don't understand. Listen, when you are going through something that you just don't understand, it is not for you to understand. Just trust God.
Trust that it is truly, even when you don't know how. Trust God.
Just trust God, because I am a complete witness to this. If I knew where God was taking me with this whole story, I would have been rejoicing. I would have been the one to be like, get out, go someplace, like, hurry up. I'm going somewhere.
Right.
But we don't know. And
we might not learn the lessons.
Yes.
And how would you relate to the person that's in that dark place, that's shedding those tears, right? If you hadn't. Like, that's why we can help women feel seen, because we did go through it, right? He did allow us to feel the hurt from it, because that grows us. It's uncomfortable, but you can't grow. I shouldn't say can't. You can, but you grow best in the dirt, right? In the dark. The seed grows best, right? It would being drowned in some water sometimes. Like, those hard things grow us. They make us better. And so he does hard times. Like, so to the women listening that's there, like, I'm not saying like, so just listen to me, trust God, and just be happy about it. I'm not saying that. Feel all the feels, embrace it though.
The process.
Not gonna, that trouble doesn't last always, right? That, okay, God, and talk to God, ask God, right? Like, okay, how are you using this, right? Like, show me, or because he may not always show you, but you can ask. I don't know your relationship with him. He may show you, right? But the caveat to that is, if he doesn't, trust him. Just know, look back over your life, look back at the hardest thing you've made it through, and know that you could do hard things. And if you can make it through that, you can make it through this. He got you through that, he'll get you through this, and he'll get you through the next thing, right? Like, I've gone through other things, but I know I can do hard things, and I've gone through them different. Because I've grown to know, like, I just trust you, God. Like, I don't know where you're going with this, but crying and anxiety and stressing it has never helped me. Trusting you has.
And you have realized that. So it's living it and experiencing it, and now knowing the difference, now but somebody that may not know, will still experience that and think that's the end of life. And that's the purpose of us sharing our stories,
Yeah.
so that there's a blessing at the end of the road. It doesn't rain all day. At
That's
some point, the rain gonna stop.
yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that's why we have mornings, we have afternoons, we have night. Nothing sits still forever. So
Yes.
your condition today does not determine where you are going or who you are supposed to be in the future.
That's right. Right.
So just embrace if you can. We know it can be very painful. Trust me. If I have experienced a pain that I do not wish on my worst enemy.
Mm.
All right. I do not wish it, and I don't think I have enemies. But if I do, the secret ones, even those secret ones that you don't know you have,
Right. We wouldn't wish it on
I
them.
don't know a real enemy of myself, but I might have few secret enemies, So even those ones, I don't wish it on them.
Right.
Because listen, life is unpredictable.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Life is unpredictable. We cannot control so much. We can just live and live knowing that there's a higher up above us all.
Yes.
Don't question him, because I did a lot of that. I used to question God a lot. Why me? Why not you?
Yes. There you
Why
go.
not you?
Right.
And so I came from, there was, different stages that I had to graduate from, I would say, and it took time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not superwoman. I didn't just wake up one day and be like, oh, okay, I don't feel. No.
There you
I'm
go.
sitting here, I'm still not completely whole,
Mm-hmm.
because we are human, and it takes time to heal again. It takes time but this is part of my healing process. First of all, it started with me even trying to write down my story. That was a struggle. Me trying to release it into the world, that was the biggest struggle, because I don't want nobody to know what's going on with my life. What? I want my life to be perfect, baby, as I look right now. I think I look good with my wig. So nobody wants to put their personal life out there. When you're writing a memoir, that's a very sensitive and personal place to be, But it wasn't for me. God prepared me for this. Jimmy, when I talk about writing a book, I talked to Justine about it, and I was going through it. I was like, today I want to do it, tomorrow I don't want to do it. Today I want to do it, tomorrow I don't want to do it. She said, okay, Recia, pray about it. Pray about it.
But you said that it's not you.
It's not, but something, I knew that it wasn't, because I never one day thought I would be an author. That's not something I had on my mind all along. But that's something God had for me, because even when I was going through my divorce, I didn't say I'm going to write a book. Meanwhile, that was just part of the icing on the cake, because I had a whole lot of story leading up to that I was just living with, never thought I would ever tell anybody. My family didn't know anything that I put in this book that happened to me. They had no clue, so I did not know everything was adding up to make a book for me to use that today to help somebody else. Yeah. And so in that moment, I felt like God wanted me to tell my story, but how? Because I just knew that everything wasn't making sense. I wasn't happy. I just knew I needed to talk about it, but I did not know how. And when we talk about God placing people in your life at different stages for a reason,
yes,
I knew just saying for a very long time, but it wasn't on the level that I would call her and be like, I'm going to write a book. But for some reason, she just started reaching out to me for other things that had nothing to do with, just involving me in other stuff that she was planning, not knowing that was God's will of bringing us closer. And so when I was going through that experience, here he go with the perfect person that could help me along the way.
You see that? I'm listening and smiling, because it's just he's so intentional. It's beautiful.
Yeah. He brought this woman that already had the same or similar story, that already been through it. She walked that walk for me to run, pretty much.
Look at that. And that's what we're passing on, right? Now you're connecting with women that are going to say, right, she's walked that walk so I can run.
So I can run. So he make it easy for me, like, okay, this is your story now it's a time for you to tell it. And so we did. Long story short, I came up with Unmuted, and the title, like I asked you about your title earlier, I think that was my first time even thinking about the word Unmuted, but it came so easy because when I started to reflect on my past and just explain the things I have been through, I had not started writing, just me and her talking on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And then the both of us there, what we're going to call a book. And some reason Unmuted just came.
Because you had yourself so long. It's
because right? I'm like, wait, she said Unmuted. I'm like, Unmuted, because you have been holding all of these things in. You have never talked about it before. Nobody knows these things. And now you are about to release it.
Ooh.
You've been muted for so long, and that was the first word that came out. Like, you've been muted for so long, and now you're about to tell it. So what we're gonna call it? Oh, Unmuted. That was funny. I still remember exactly where I was. I was driving and everything. When that whole title came out, I was like, oh my God, perfect.
I love it. I love it.
And here we are today with after the book. I still call her. I was like, I feel like it's not done. She said, wait, why not, Recia? I said, I feel like it's not done. I feel like, you wrote a book, so it's not everything you can put in a book.
Right.
You can have a whole lot to say, but not everything. So I was like, I feel like God still wants me to say more. I still have a lot to do. I still have a lot in here. And I feel like I need to, not just people reading my book, but I need to connect with them on a different level. I need to start a podcast.
There you go. Look at
that. She said, what? I said, yeah. She said, girl, like, you come from not talking to just want to be talking all day. I don't know what to do with you.
I love that.
She said, damn, we could not get you to say a word. Now you just over here wants to talk. The work of God.
Yes.
And so here on Muted Podcast now, it is just helping so many people to release. It is so good. It is a joy to just release.
Yes.
It is healing. It is self-awareness. It is acknowledging that your pain is not just yours. Many of us experience it and don't feel like God has given up on you, because no, He loves you. It's just stages of life. We all experience things, and you are not alone, my sister.
That's
or right. My brother, because the man be going through it too.
Yes.
Right? So yeah, that's just a little bit of my 2 cents.
Thank you for sharing, and thank you for this unmuted space. It's needed, and we need to share more. We need to feel safe enough, right? So it's really about creating spaces like this. We need to feel safe enough to let our guard down, to be vulnerable and transparent, and to grow better together, like I like to say. It's important. So thank you for the part that you play in creating spaces like this for people.
Thank you. It's God's will. It's God's will. Yes. I have a question here. I came up with last minute.
Okay.
So let's see. Let me play with Miss Jimmy a little bit. Is there anything currently in your life that you feel you can be more disciplined in?
Oh, absolutely. Eating.
Yeah.
Definitely right now, top would be, yes, curbing my appetite, because I've gotten back into the gym in October. So October, November, December, January. It's been 4 months, and that's not really going to do it if I keep eating everything that I'm eating. So I don't know if that's too simple, but that's been like, okay, Jamie, right? Like even now I'm like, okay, February's here. Like I got to chill out because I'm a foodie. So It's not helping me to just eat everything under the sun. All that walking and working out I'm doing is like going to be null and void. So I move my body, yes, but I eat anything I want to eat. And so I need to do better with that.
Yeah. We, that's a lot of us struggle. Food is good. Food is good. I try to convince myself once in a while. I'll be like, I'm just going to eat today. I'll go to the gym tomorrow. So what?
Yeah, I've been consistent with the working out, but I'm like, okay, why isn't it making a difference? Because I'm still just like eating whatever. So
yeah, that's it. And I don't make it to the gym. Maybe one day, and then the whole week I be going, but I just don't go. It's in my head.
Right.
I'm going, but I just don't go.
Yes.
So
That would be
free money
right now. I need to be more disciplined with what I do.
Okay. I think for me, I think it could be many things. I don't think mine is full. I think I can really be disciplined and listen to my intuition. I need to discipline myself and listen to that, because what I do now is I take everything to God. But sometimes when we ask God for things, He doesn't move exactly how we want Him to move.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it may come in the opposite way, that you still sitting there. He's already answering you, but you're still sitting there waiting because you want what you want.
You want it to look like you, right?
You want it to look like what you vision, I think that has been one of my struggles a few times. So I will share this here. So how you pray for certain things, be like, okay, God, remove certain things out of my life that is not meant for me. Or remove people or situations out of my way. Remove the wrong people out of my life. That has been one of my prayer points. But then, even though my prayer is saying remove people, sometimes God does not remove those people. Instead, He remove you.
Yes.
But
I write about that in the book. That's so good. That yes.
you still sitting there waiting for those people to be removed. Why? But He remove you because you are the one He's trying to remove from that environment.
Right.
And He's taking you somewhere else. Yeah. And so you're like, no, but that's not why. Well, you ask Him to move at His own pace and to move and do what He wants for you.
Yeah.
So I have to discipline myself in listening and just, going past my own understanding and allowing Him to do His thing. Because when you pray, they say, be careful what you pray for.
That
when the answer comes, sometimes when you're asking God to remove people, He might be moving your own mother, and you won't like that, because your own mother may be the whole on your life, or your own sister, or it could be your own blood.
Yeah.
So you don't know. So when you ask Him, you have to be obedient. So that's
and you have to trust that He knows better. That has to be, because one of my prayers consistently is the open and shut door prayer. So I just pray that God open and shut doors according to His perfect will for my life. And I just actually was able to put that into practice, right? Because we can pray it, but when it starts happening, when doors start shutting, right? Be like, thank you, God. And so I got a chance, to God be the glory, only God, to put that into like, okay, here we go. Because I was in between December 31st, my project was over. I'm a contractor, corporate, outside of the business. And I needed another project. I had 15 days. So I'm praying, open and shut doors. So as I'm applying, I'm getting all the rejection emails. I'm like, okay, open doors too. I'm like, open and shut doors. But I'm like, okay, God, like I would say thank you. When I got the email, I'm like, okay, thank you. That, that wasn't the door. And I got to put into practice rejoicing in the hallway. Right? Rejoicing as I'm waiting to get to that open door, and I'm walking by these closed doors. I'm rejoicing because if you don't want it for me, I don't want it for me.
Right.
There were jobs that I was really like, oh, I hope I get this one. Like this would be perfect. But if you don't want it for me, if He closed the door, okay, that's not it. You know better than I know. So okay, where's the open door? And there was only one door that opened on day 14. And I started last Monday. So I'm like,
Okay.
thank you, God. So yeah, I had a chance to see how that felt, and it felt great. And I'm gonna remember that the next time, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
that was perfect. I didn't have because, and I pray that prayer because I'm so indecisive. Like self-awareness. I'm so like, don't give me two open doors because now I'm gonna be stuck with like, I don't know which one.
Yeah. But
Should I
he doesn't confuse
just
you.
open
Yeah.
and shut the doors according to your will and align the desires of my heart with your will for my life. So I only want what you want for me.
Mm-hmm.
Has served me well too.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. That's great. We just have to learn how to listen.
Yes.
Listen to the voices.
Yeah.
Listen to him moving. You know, when it's only confusing when he's not in it. When he's telling you it's not what you should be doing, that's when you find confusion.
Mhm.
You know, it becomes complicated. Like, should I do this? Should I not do that? But when God actually line you for something, it's just so easy. He just it's easy. He doesn't give you much to choose from.
Right.
You
Right.
know, so that's one of my struggles. But
I didn't even apply
learning
for the
to,
job I got.
huh?
I didn't even apply for the job I got.
See,
It's just like you have a 4 o'clock call I put on your calendar with, this person. And I was like, well, what's the job description? Like I didn't even know. Like, so God was
see,
like, all of that you did, like fine, you did your due diligence because we have
yeah,
that part
yeah.
of faith, but yeah,
What you think it be perfect for you is not what it is, you know. So I'm just happy for the growth. I'm happy for my for the growth and my mindset these days. How I don't let things get to me. How I don't let things encourage me because I just feel like I have come a long way, and some things that could really break me never did because of God. You know, some people may look at me and be like, damn, she been through so much. How she still going through, how she still wake up and find peace. God,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So if I'm still here and breathing and well and healthy, no medication, no doctor visit, I mean, I can't. I'm unstoppable.
Yes.
I look at it that way. I'm like, I'm blessed. I'm unstoppable. My kids are well, they are healthy. Sometimes you gotta just think about the little things
Yes.
around you and be so grateful for life.
Yes.
We complain about everything. Rather than that, just say, God, thank you.
Yes. Gratitude truly is the
Yeah, just say, God, thank you. Smile at somebody. Go to the gas station and take a gas and bless the man that pumping your gas. I'm in Jersey.
kindness. Yes.
We don't pump our own gas in Jersey.
I know. I drive to Jersey from Pennsylvania just I'm a Jersey girl. So
You used to be, yeah, you was a Jersey girl. I saw that in your book. I'm like, she's a Jersey girl. So I hate to go Philly and have to get there and put my gas because we are spoiled in
yes.
Jersey. We are spoiled. You sitting in the car, it's raining, and somebody child, somebody husband, somebody is out there pumping your gas. Give him a tip, buy him a lunch, something. You know, I think the guys know me at the gas station now. But you know, I think they probably be like, okay, let me pump her gas. She's gonna give me the change. She's gonna let me keep her change. You know? Because I'm like, what's the point? If there's a change, take it. The other guy look at me like, it's $7 and some change. Okay, do you want it or not? Like, take the change.
Right.
You know, it's just the little things.
Yeah, and they add up.
They add up. Just but when you find your place in life where you just appreciate everything, it's not hard to love people. It's not hard to be kind.
Yes.
It's really not hard. It takes so much energy to just be angry and mean and be a mean girl or just find reason for everything. I know that this had nothing to do with my question, but it is part of being unmuted. This is unmuted. We just go as we flow. So I'm just taking the moment to say, be kind, be nice, and appreciate life. It doesn't even matter if you have a health situation going on. Be grateful that you are still here, and just trust that the one doctor that can heal any sickness is God.
Amen.
that he can take away anything. He can take away anything from your body if you just trust and believe, because he created us. So he knows everything that's going on in there. And that's why I be like, God, I'm not going to know that. Everything is in here already. So take what is not belong. Yeah. Take what's not belong. And
he can still use you no matter what. He can still use you. He can use that. Nothing's wasted.
Yeah. So
you're going to write a book on healing one day. Maybe you're going to write a book on getting through it. And let's be real, right? Maybe you're going to write a book on living with it.
Yeah. So, okay. Okay. Guys, if you have a question, feel free to ask your questions. We are almost up. So, you have a question for Jamie or myself, go right ahead. Other than that, send us your question. We can also read it on our next episode. If you could leave our audience with one key message about happiness, purpose, and fit, what will it be?
One key message: remember whose you are. Remember that. And if you don't, let me say that. If you don't know this God we've been talking about this whole time, Jesus Christ as your personal savior, get to know him. He wants to know you and he thinks you're to die for, right? So, and if you do, remember whose you are. Remember that you were brought with a price and that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. And key message, just know you're already enough. You're equipped with everything you need to fulfill your God-given purpose. So you are enough and you matter.
You are enough and you matter. I love that. That's a great way to leave it. You heard it from the author of My Piece of Happy. You are enough. You are enough. That's a very strong word. If you can believe that, nothing else can move you, to a depressing place or not trusting that you are enough. Just believe that you are enough. You are who God wants you to be. Mm-hmm. Embrace that and love that, because that comes with self-love. We talked about it earlier. If you believe that, you know that no one can take that away from you. Like they say, when you have education, no one can take that from you. Yeah. So if you love yourself and you believe in yourself and you have that confidence, no one can take that away from you. Own up to your own and embrace all of that. Thank you so much, my sister. Thank you. This was awesome.
Thank you for this conversation and again for this space. I love you and I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Please let our audience know how to connect with you.
Certainly, you can. I am Jamie Watkins, or My Piece of Happy, on all platforms except TikTok. It's Jamie Watkins. But regardless, if you search Jamie Watkins, you'll find me.
So there you see on the screen her IG, My Piece of Happy, one word. Facebook, My Piece of Happy. You can find her on those social medias and grab her book. My Piece of Happy is on Amazon, is on Barnes & Noble.
Barnes & Noble, Walmart.com.
Walmart, Target, I believe. Even though we are going through some Target situation.
Well, yeah, maybe don't get it from Target, but or Walmart.
Get it from Amazon.
Right?
You get it in 2 days, all right?
Yeah.
Forget Target and Walmart in them places.
Yes. So, and if you go on Amazon, you'll also see the planner. There's a guided women's journal and there's a self-love journal for teen girls as well that I've done.
Okay, awesome. That's good. So my sister, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I'm going to let you go. I just took a whole hour from your night. And not everybody wants to be up this late. So thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your story. I love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us tonight. Please, if you just joined us, go back to watch this episode. It was very inspiring. Jamie, as you know, she's the author of My Piece of Happy. She's a coach. She can teach you 1 or 2 things, or 3 or 4 or 5. So feel free to hit her up, follow her social media, as I have right here, My Piece of Happy on Facebook, My Piece of Happy on Instagram. Also, feel free to order my book, Unmuted, which is the reason we are sitting here today. This podcast is inspired by my book, Unmuted. If you go to Amazon, you can order your copy. We have a hard copy, paperback, something else I can't think right now. But yeah, so find Unmuted by Recia Kabbah. It's that's simple. Or you can Google my book. For everywhere else is being sold. But I always tell people just go to Amazon. That's your go-to. And if you have a story to tell, reach us info@unmuted.us. We also have our Unmuted collections on shopricaboutique.com. So if you go to ricaboutique.com, you can purchase my book and I can send you a signed copy. If you don't want to order it from Amazon, you can order it directly through me and I'll be sending you a signed copy. So I like to encourage that because then I will be sending you a signed copy rather than, Amazon, you're just going to have your book, but it's not going to be signed. So the book is also available on my website. It's right here on the screen. You can screenshot it. It's recaboutique.com. You can go to www.recaboutique.com, REKA boutique.com. And we have women clothing and accessories. Feel free to shop, support. We have a sale going on right now on some of our items. And yeah, I'll be happy to be signing your new book. And then if you have a story to tell, send us an email, info@unmuted.us. Let's talk about it. All right, guys. Again, thank you for tuning in today. And thank you for tuning in every Sunday. For those of you that tune in every Sunday, I appreciate the love and the support. If you have a question after you come across this video, you have a question, feel free to send us your questions. We will be reading them and answering them on our next episode. We go live every Sunday night at 9 p.m. with different guests, different topic. And so you could learn something, you could be inspired by something. Someone could be inspired by your own story. So feel free, again, to hit me up. All right. I'm the only one reading that email. All right. So thank you, guys. Again, I am your host, Recia Kabbah. This is Unmuted Podcast. Good night, y'all.